Okay, I'm much more intelligent this time through. I scanned through the VOD a little bit and made sure to skip out all of the replays and stats that we can't understand because they're in Korean. We're going to get right down to the second set of eSTRO versus KT. Flying, this Protoss, nice and orange color. Down here in the bottom left? Didn't really get a good position. Top left. Is, down here at the 7 o'clock or so, we have HoeJJa. The capital J is in the middle of his name. The Zerg, who's blue. Unfortunately, scouting the wrong direction. That sucks for him. Oh man, took out that kid. That kid's like, I'm drinking Korean water. I got no teeth, and it's awesome. Ha! So, yeah, no really interesting cheese happening. Man, Korean's not hiding from the screen. That's weird. Or normal. See that as you may. And luckily for flying, he's going to scout HoeJJa first off right here and send that probe right on into his base. And I think HoeJJa will know where flying is, because if flying was in the if he was in the right position, he would HoeJJa would have seen it, and if he was in the top position, the probe wouldn't be that early. And you notice HoeJJa did turn his overlord to go right here. See, it's moving up into the left towards flying's base. So this is an interesting match because flying is super new. He just came out of the minor leagues. He played his first pro games, first televised games. I don't know who that goon is. He's kind of... Is it that Action again? I can't tell. Action is so nondescript, I immediately forget what he looks like, apparently. GosI is super new. He just came off the B team, or the farm team, or whatever you want to call it. And he's really been... he's impressed me. He's come up with a lot of interesting stuff, and he's been playing high caliber games, even if he's not obviously one of the top Protosses. HoeJJa, on the other hand, is pretty much mediocre. He wins 45% of his games or so. His best matchup is versus Protoss, so that's something to be said for the current situation. He's better than 50% versus Protoss. So hopefully that will play out to his and KT's advantage in this game. It's all pretty much standard type stuff. Overpull into Expo for HoeJJa, and Forge Nexus Cannon coming down for flying. That's probably safe on this map, and I don't think... It looks like HoeJJa wasn't going to push it anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. This is sort of a new trend. I don't understand exactly why. In the Forge Fast Extend SimCity, we're seeing a lot of Protoss choosing to do this, where they make the Forge in the Nexus with this gap. They make this gap for units, I guess, between these two, which I don't like on iCup, at least at the low levels, because then when noob Zergs are trying to kill your gateways and Forges with all-ins, your cannons are really far away and can't help defend. But on the other hand, this is kind of nice later. These cannons, if you look, they're very close to that ramp, and they're very close to the minerals to protect against meterless crash, and they're further back, so it makes it a lot easier to hide, say, Templar right here when you got Dragoons out in the front, kinda. Anyway, enough about flying's natural. This is an otherwise utterly standard ZVP. We have third base coming up at the cross position main from where flying is. Easiest to defend spot, and then also easy to pick up a third gas. This is why I don't like generic 4-player maps like Action, like Fighting Spirit and Tornado. ZVP is going to have the exact same matchup pretty much on those two maps. It's not entirely true, and there's some differences to note, but you can see the same sort of overall build is going to result. We're going to see this sort of 3-hatch and then probably into a quick 4th turtle type play from the Zerg, and then try to finish the Protoss with lair tech and or transition to 4-gas hive tech, both viable options from the Zerg's perspective. And I wonder what really the best decision for the Protoss to do against this is. I think really probably you should just take an early third, especially since the you should probably pressure the Zerg into placing those static defenses, placing those sunkens, turtling, and then take your third. Sort of like we saw in the last game where Violet pushed up early, made action put down lots of stuff, and then actually pretty much double expanded by the time he got his stuff done. This is some nice SimCity. Look at this block. This is a wide old choke. Flying's like, whatever. I'm just going to block the entire thing with buildings. You can't get no Zerglings through there. And so that was... yeah, the commentators are noting how small that choke is, too. One gate into... build something. Flying. What is this? He's got one gate in a citadel, so I imagine he's either going for Templar or Zealot speed, but he's not building Templar, and if he was going for Zealot speed, he'd have more gateways so he could build more Zealots, because he's going to lose these Zealots to Zerglings, and not quite movie-like micro there. So, I don't know, did that Sair? It did not even get a kill, yeah. It was flying around looking for overlords and failing, and now there's Scourge out, so it's going to be forced to retreat away. He is going for that Sair heavy sort of build where he pumps sailors continuously out of the one Stargate. Wow! Lucky Sair. Lucky Sair. And this is kind of an interesting build from GosI. This is why you have to like GosI. He's okay. There's the Temple Archives finally coming up. He's not playing any particular set build that's been done to death. We see that so often, especially that was why PvZ got really stale, say in the summer, because everyone's trying to do the same Stargate into Citadel, into Templar, into DGs, into High Templar type build, and they were all doing the same thing, and they were doing it over and over repeatedly, and it just was getting owned repeatedly because the Zergs knew exactly what was coming. So this is pretty similar, but it's sort of delaying various bits and getting the Corsairs over top, which seems to be the modification to make this build more modern. Get Corsairs over top. Don't let the Zerg have air superiority. Don't let Mulus run all over you. It reduces your ability to be aggressive, which kind of is unfortunate, and it reduces the ability for you to take a really early third, but then again, you don't lose all your High Templar. And this is clever. Sneaking past the static defense. No 4th base for you, HoeJJa. So that's great play from flying. And it's going to be a long time before HoeJJa has the forces to fight off those 4 Zealots sitting inside of... And man, look at this is this is the Protoss everything build. This is the Templar and RoboBay at the same time, plus with Corsairs over top build, which isn't actually as bad as it sounds like it should be.